Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help boost your efficiency and achieve your goals. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to peak performance.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Robin J. Emden and I'm an accountability coach and the author of Get Resultsology, The Science of Getting Stuff Done. I work with people who run their own business. No boss, distractions everywhere and never enough hours in the day. Together we cut through the noise, sharpen their focus and follow through on the big ideas that actually move the needle. That's what I call the momentum formula. Do it today, profit tomorrow and repeat. So if that sounds like the kind of breakthrough you've been looking for, then you're in exactly the right place. And speaking of being in exactly the right place, I am delighted to welcome our expert today, Celi Arias. Celi is the expert scale strategist and founder of the Grown Ass Business. Celi helps entrepreneurs scale in ways that fit their lives. Using her key growth systems methodology, she teaches mastery of 6 systems: CEO vision, marketing, sales, finance, operations, and leadership mindset to break revenue plateaus and avoid burnout. With 4 degrees, including an MBA and Master of Divinity, plus COO experience, Celi blends academic rigor with bold, actionable strategies for thriving businesses. Celi, welcome to Goalbusters.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And our listeners won't know this, but I've been tripping over my words no end. So thank you for persevering with that. But at this point, I usually ask, I'm going to do it anyway. What part of the world are you from, Celi?
I am from Argentina and I currently live in New York.
Fantastic. And I could then start talking about, what's the weather like, which would be very British and boring of me. So shall we do the questions instead?
Yes.
That's a good idea. Okay, there goes the clock. So Celi, could you tell me, please, who is your ideal client?
Well, in short, I would say a business owner that is typically finding themselves stuck in a 6-figure range and they really have goals and ambitions of being a 7-figure or multi-7, 8-figure business.
That is short and to the point, and that shows you understand your business really well, which I always like. So could you tell me, talking of understanding your business really well, what is the problem, or I think we've already established many problems that you solve?
I think the problem that I solve is figuring out what your problem is. So my method is based off of, over 20 years in business. I was a founder in my early 20s. And what I find is people get stuck in different places in business based on what strengths and skills they bring to the table. And we're usually, obviously, unaware of our blind spots, but unaware that our skills and strengths are pulling us away from seeing our blind spots and developing the other parts of business that need to be developed to get past wherever we're stuck. The funny thing about business is business itself doesn't care about your strengths and skills, and it doesn't care about your weaknesses. Business in itself is an entity that works when all the pieces work together. So I help people find, through a very step-by-step simple system, find where their weak spots are. We develop systems for those weak spots and then build out a fully functioning machine, basically.
Fantastic. All right. That was a complicated and a series of problems simplified in a very short amount of time. Thank you so much. So what is
I've been doing this for a while and I talk about it a lot. So I think I've gotten better at not rambling on about it,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's my first time hearing what you do and our listeners too. So I very much appreciate you doing that. So what is one valuable free action that the audience can implement that will help them to solve these problems?
I think the hardest thing for a founder or a CEO or solopreneur, or even leader of a small team, the hardest thing, and you probably see this in your work as well, is figuring out which problem is the right problem to solve. every day as an entrepreneur or a leader or a CEO, you have lots of problems flying at you and coming at your face, and everything feels like it's priority or like it's important, and everything feels like it needs to get done right now. And the biggest challenge is learning where you are right now in business on the scale of growth. Where are you on the map? So that you can kind of go, I hear you, that sounds important, but that's not actually important right now. So I think the best advice I can say is if you don't have a coach or you don't have a system that you're following, always ask yourself in the face of anything that seems, oh my God, I have to drop what I'm doing to do that. Be able to ask yourself, is that truly important? Is that priority? Is that the thing that's going to impact the one or two key goals I'm working on right now? And try to make a discerning decision, not an emotional decision in that moment, of whether it's somebody on your team bringing you a problem or something to fix, or it's you yourself getting overwhelmed by your own calendar and your own to-do list. Being able to every day go, wait a minute, is that important right now to the one or two key goals I'm working towards? And that is one of the hardest things to do as an entrepreneur. And it's what I teach all the time, but it's also why I created a method to determine what are the one or two problems you should be solving right now, and what are the one or two goals that you're working towards right now, so that you can turn down the noise on everything else.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's almost like I feel like saying to our listeners now, you're like a magician's assistant. We've never met before, have we? Hint, hint. And we genuinely have never met before. And yet it's
Yep.
like you are inside my head, reading my mind. I literally spent the whole of yesterday morning dealing with exactly the issue you've just raised. I was set to deal with something else and something came up. And I was like, like oh, squirrel, I'm off to do something else, And I'm like, and when I finished it, I was like, well, that was important, but did I really need to deal with that there and then? And it's like, Celi must have been looking over my shoulder as I think I was doing that. My goodness, got me goosebumps. All right. So it happens all the time. You're absolutely right. So now that we have a better understanding, or a little bit better understanding of what you do, we're not going to get a huge understanding in such a short space of time, obviously, it's a big topic, but let's dive briefly into goal busting, focusing on how to maximize productive time to achieve business goals. So it's staying with the theme. Could you share any tips or advice for someone looking to improve their productivity habits? Mind you, you've just given us a blinder, so I don't know if you can top that.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say that's always my thing that I'm teaching people how to think through is like, is this problem the problem to solve, number one. But two, on a tactical level, I think it's really important to be realistic about the hours in the day that you have to work, and then be diligent doesn't even cover it, but be diligent, be ruthless about protecting focus work time or sacred work time on your calendar. So the truth is, like we talked about this before, I have a 1-year-old and I used to work from 7 a.m. to 8 or 9 p.m. at night, and now my day gets cut off at 5. So I have to become even more ruthless about, no, my focus work time in the morning is when my brain is on. It's when I can do work on my SaaS product. It's when I can do client work. No calls get booked at that time. So I would say be ruthless about your calendar and what gets booked in and when, and have boundaries around. I only realistically, if I take a lunch break, I only realistically have 6 hours a day to work, maybe 7, even though we think it's 9 or 10, it's not. So be honest with yourself about your time and then be ruthless about your boundaries.
Again, it's like you're in my head. Just fantastic and brilliant advice. Absolutely brilliant. And in a little bit of time we got left, sorry, it's only a little bit of time, but if you overrun, that's fine. Take a little bit of time. What should I have asked you today, Celi, that I didn't? And your answer, please.
I think you've asked excellent questions. I mean, these are all my favorite subjects, so I don't feel like anything has not been covered, but I sometimes get asked, why should I listen to you? And like, what do you know? And I get pushback from my own clients sometimes when they don't like the strategy or advice I've given them. And why you should listen is because I'm in my mid 40s. I've been growing and building businesses for the past 25 years. I have been homeless at one point, thanks to business, and I have been a multimillionaire at one point, thanks to business. So sometimes I think that's hard for people to grasp. I've been on the full gamut, the full array of what's possible in business. You can do really, really well. And I think we see the highlights reel all the time, thanks to social media from these big guru coaches. But you can also make some mistakes and it can actually impact your life negatively. And that's why I talk about what I talk about and why I teach what I teach, is because I hope that you don't experience some of those things. So that's what I would say.
Fantastic. And on that note, I do have a final question which segues beautifully from what you've just said, which is, how can people reach you to find out more about you? And also, is there like a valuable free resource they can get from you? And I always say at this point, it's a bit of a cheeky question asking you for a freebie, but what I'm really doing is giving people a way to make that first contact with you, because they may not want to jump straight in and just email you direct. Some will, but most want to find out more about your offer, and a valuable free resource is usually a brilliant way of doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I talk a lot about knowing where you are on the grid of growth, right? Where is your business really? So I actually have created a PDF of one of my frameworks, which is all about the 5 stages of growth and knowing what you're supposed to do at each stage. And I've created a PDF for your audience. So if you want to, I'm sure you'll put it in the show notes, but if you want to go to go.celiarias.com, which is CELIARIAS.com/the-gab-stages-of-growth. So the GAB stages of growth, you can download this map basically that kind of tells you what you should be focusing on in every stage of business.
Fantastic. And yes, absolutely, we do put it in the show notes. So if you link through to the page we put there, you'll find that a hot link straight through to Celi's offer. And also for people, I nearly said for people listening, it's on the YouTube screen. I nearly said that, but unfortunately I caught myself just in time. But it is on the YouTube screen if anybody is looking at the video. All right, Celi, that's been wonderful. Thank you so much. I feel like we've been treated to a masterclass. I also feel like if you spoke to us for another hour or two, which you're not booked for today, it would be an even more impressive masterclass. Goodness knows what you packed into half a dozen minutes, what you would pack into an hour would be incredible. And I'm sure your clients appreciate you when that's exactly what you do for them. So thank you for appearing on Goalbusters today.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. And remember, everybody, keep goal busting and make your future self proud. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate and review it on your favourite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination, and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.